Katie Page did not think that she would be a divorcee by her early 30s. This changed her plans a lot. She wanted her own family, but this did not seem possible anymore. However, things changed when she made a certain decision. Katie Page is from Birmingham, Alabama. During her 30s, she went through a lot of hardships in life. She and her ex-husband split up, and she felt lost. On top of that, she had to put her dreams of a family on hold in the meantime. She was having a hard time figuring out what she wanted to do with her life. She made the decision that it was time for a major change. The only thing to do in order to make everything better was to begin again. This is what led her to finally make a move and go elsewhere, even though she has a lot of good opportunities in Alabama, as well as a lot of friends there. She did some soul searching in 2015 before deciding to make some major life changes. Katie was forced to relocate in order to begin a new chapter in her life. Before we start, can we get this video to 1,000 likes? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Katie eventually made the decision to move to Denver, Colorado. She began working in the commercial construction industry there. On paper, her job title was Integrated Service Manager for G. Johnson, a construction company. She felt optimistic about this plan of hers. She also paid for a 4-bedroom property that others might call a fixer-upper. While the project was going to put a dent on her wallet, she was fine with it. She was glad to hear that there were still other ways to start a family. Katie thought she was going to see things differently after getting a house and a new job. This did happen, but it still did not make her happy. She decided to start looking into adoption from then on. Katie received a letter from her new church about an upcoming seminar to discuss the foster children project. She liked the sound of that. Perhaps this would turn out to be her calling in life. When she walked out of the meeting, she felt entirely convinced to go into it. Something told her that she should do this. While she felt somewhat nervous, she could tell this was going to be the right thing. She decided to kick off such a great journey on Mother's Day of 2015. It was the exact day that she filled out an application form. She had an idea that this would change her life for as long as she lived. Soon after she filed the application, she started getting cases assigned to her. The foster children she got lined up were not only kids who did not have any parents but also parents who did not approve of them. She brought this up with her caseworker, and things began to slide into place after doing that. At one point, she got a phone call about a certain newborn baby boy. What was her plan? She would then find out that they left the baby behind at only 4 days old. Katie also started talking to the caseworker. She said, "I want to hold him." She also hoped that no one else got wind of the baby. One day later, her phone started to ring once more. It was from her caseworker. What do you think it was possibly about? Clue: she ended up going to the hospital to bring home the baby boy. Previously, she had to care for a 14-month-old baby. However, this was the first time she ever dealt with anyone so young. We bet you will agree when we say that it was sad the boy got abandoned so soon. The doctors also found out that this little boy had been exposed to various substances when he was in the womb. Even though he was exposed to drugs, he did not have withdrawal symptoms. Woo! Can you believe that the little angel did not even have a name? She went home with the little angel and only ever called him baby boy. This was not meant to last forever, however. In the end, she decided to call him Grayson. It was her favorite boy's name. Katie was smitten with little Grayson from the moment that she saw him. Grayson had been living with Katie since he was only 4 days old. We cannot blame them from growing attached to one another. He stayed with her for nearly a year as they searched for his folks. They'd worked hard to look for his biological parents, but no such luck. Katie Page finally became the legal parent of Grayson in May 2017. At the time, he was 11 months old. In those days, they had no idea that life had many surprises in store for the small family. Her son required a lot of attention due to the physical and developmental problems he had from the drug exposure. Over the next couple of weeks, Katie got more calls and emails about getting new foster children. There were many offers for short-term foster arrangements. However, she was not ready for another kid yet. It was only 1 month after she finalized the adoption process that she received a phone call out of nowhere. She had no idea that this conversation was going to impact her life so much. They let her know that there was yet another abandoned newborn infant in need of a place to call home. The child at the hospital was called Hannah, apparently. What did Katie plan to do? Hannah had certain similarities with Grayson. For one thing, she was discovered at the same hospital. Second, she was also exposed to illegal substances in the womb. What did Katie plan to do this time? Katie felt scared and overwhelmed, but she knew the right thing to do here was to open her heart. In a few hours, they dropped off little Hannah at her house. She was now going to live with her and Grayson. Little Hannah got welcomed into their home with lots of warmth. Katie then noticed the name on her baby bracelet. Why, it was the same as that of Grayson's. Aside from that, the birth dates were also similar. She was bothered by the similarities between the stories of the two kids. What did all of this mean? Katie had been feeling anxious during the days leading up to her meeting with the biological daughter. However, she figured out that she truly was the person who gave birth to Grayson as well. Whoa! Katie says that she knew instantly that this was the same person on the papers for both Hannah and Grayson. However, it was a good idea to keep her wits about her and stay calm instead of running her mouth. During the conversation, this birth mother said some things that confirmed her suspicions. For one thing, she said she delivered a little boy, but gave him up without any records. She also looked like Grayson. Katie learned that this woman had a couple of kids already. She also knew that there was another baby boy she did not report properly. At last, everything made sense once again. However, Katie wanted to wait for the results of the DNA test first. When it came back, she learned that she was right. Hannah and Grayson were related by blood. Katie could not believe that she ended up with these two kids, who were actually half-siblings. What a fascinating coincidence. One caseworker took a look at the case and agreed with what she had found. What if the baby girl had gone to another family? She said, "We would have never found her or Grayson's mother. The connection would have never been made. I could not believe the miracle that had just happened." But will Katie adopt Hannah as well? That is an easy question to answer because she already made up her mind. She didn't want anything to come in the way of these biological siblings. So the answer is yes. Katie, Grayson, and Hannah all went to court for a hearing on the 29th of December 2018. After this, Hannah was now her legal daughter. We are sure they were excited to finally make it official. The three of them were one lovely family. Katie was very happy that she managed to reunite these two siblings. When she started taking kids into her home, she had no idea that this was possible. Hannah was in the foster care system for nearly 2 years before Katie finally adopted her. The little girl made for a great addition to the household. Don't you think fate had something to do with this? They were meant to find each other, that's pretty clear. I think God intended that from the beginning. It is wrong to think that the story ended when she adopted Hannah. In fact, she wound up getting yet another important phone call a little more than a year after Hannah was born. What was it about? They told her that the birth mother had actually even birthed to one more child. It was a baby boy this time. 3 children sounded like a lot more than she bargained for. What was Katie going to do? This piece of news meant that her children actually had an even younger sibling looking for a home. She could not believe this piece of information. Can she even handle 3 kids under the same roof? After giving the matter some thought, Katie knew that there was no other choice but to keep the 3 children together. She fostered the boy and started going through the adoption process one more time. Hannah was developing into a lovely girl. Katie loved all things girly, and she couldn't get enough of it. She relished the opportunity to raise a little girl. Katie is truly an outspoken woman. Her passion lies in the field of foster care. Check out the social media pages she runs if you want to learn more about her advocacy. Trust us, it is worth your time. At the moment, she is still processing Jackson's adoption. It takes patience beyond what I feel I have sometimes. It makes me and those who support me angry some days, but encounters/relationships with the children make it worth the hard times. There is nothing normal about the way that everything came together in the end. It was a miracle that Katie adopted their job, apparently. Katie also said, "It is my greatest adventure, and I can't imagine my life without this experience."